Inside every blade is a story. It's a tale of fire and metal, of precision craft, history, and heritage. My name is John Phillips, and I make knives by hand, one at a time. Every knife I make starts with a question: where does it come from? Not just the steel, but the story, the lineage, the land. Over the past decade, I've forged hundreds of blades, exploring the depths of steel to better understand the intricacies of this ancient craft. I've spent years chasing down patterns, perfecting techniques, and forging steel into form. Lately, I've been thinking about what it means to make something not just beautifully, but responsibly. What does it mean to craft tools for the future without repeating the mistakes of the past? This is a journey about making things that last, and it starts with the earth, runs through fire, and ends, like all things, with a shared meal. This isn't just a craft, it's a commitment to the work, to the process, to the planet. For centuries, bladesmiths have searched for the perfect knife steel. As a knife maker, this quest isn't just about the materials, it's about the heritage, the craftsmanship, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Today, it's also about innovation, finding greener, more sustainable ways to forge the tools of tomorrow. So, I'm embarking on a journey to Sweden, to meet the people behind some of the world's cleanest and most innovative steels, to understand the alchemy of old world tradition and new school sustainability, and to bring a piece of that story home. Sweden's not just a land of breathtaking beauty, but it's a home of legacy of metallurgy. Some of the first steels ever invented were born in Scandinavia, and for centuries, this industry alone has shaped the culture and inspired craftspeople like me from around the world. Now we head north a few hundred kilometers to the snowy Swedish landscape that most often comes to mind. For me, it's never just about the blade. It's about where the materials come from and what they've been through and what kind of story they tell. Here we are in Sandviken, Sweden, at Alleima Steel, the home of Damax stainless. The inspiration for Damax came from the opportunity to create something new and exciting. By combining large-scale production with attention to detail, Alleima accepted the challenge to create a new breed of highly functional as well as aesthetically pleasing damascus steel. When steel arrives at the scrapyard, chemical analysis is taken to understand the breakdown of the steel. Closely analyzing the amounts of nickel, chromium, manganese, and copper, experts are able to properly assign the steel to the correct batch of metal to be remelted. About 83% of Alleima's knife steel is made from recycled content. Alleima works closely with its customers in their buyback program to reuse any scraps and reduce its carbon footprint. After the scrapyard, we're ready to head into the melt shop where the transformation begins, a process that few are ever able to experience. And after a quick safety briefing, we're ready to head into the belly of the beast. The steel is first melted in batches weighing almost 75 tons each in the electric arc furnace at over 2,000 degrees. Powered by Alleima's very own hydroelectric power plant to reduce fossil fuel emissions, the melt shop is able to run almost continuously. This is where the first melting process occurs. These processes give very tight controls in every batch and ensure high quality standards. Every team member is an expert in their own right. This work is incredibly dangerous and requires a very high level of precision to ensure that the exact metallurgy is achieved in every batch. Every batch is tested for consistent properties and performance. Two martensitic steel grades that make up Damax are Alleima 7C27MO2 and 19C27. In order to create these steels, a continuous flow of molten metal is needed through the entire process. From here, the steel is tested and sent to the AOD converter, where experts can reduce the levels of carbon and sulfur before being sent to the ladle furnace, where the final mixture is established. As the molten metal is moved from the melt shop to the rolling mills, a dedicated team member is tasked with tapping the crucible to release hundreds of thousands of pounds of liquid steel into the next step of the process. After the melt shop, the steel is hot rolled and then sent to the annealing ovens, where the molecules in the metal are allowed to relax before heading into cold rolling. In the cold roll shop, special machines use high pressure to reduce the steel to the required thickness. Experts inspect the metal at every step of the process to ensure the required specifications are strictly adhered to. Next, the steel moves into the slitting and edge milling stations. This is where the large metal rolls are reduced to the specified widths and lengths needed by the customer. I was very impressed by the level of knowledge and dedication shown by everyone I met. At the slitting line, the edges are trimmed and sorted to be recycled into new steel. The final step in production is quality control, where the steel is meticulously inspected and prepared for shipment. We next head off the factory floor and up to research and development department, where we meet with the lead engineering team to learn more about Damax. Here they study the full life cycle of the blade, taking into consideration the alloys with improved edge holding abilities, regrindability, and corrosion resistance. As a result, blades made from these steels can be longer lasting with a finished product that is excellent for culinary applications or outdoor use. Using an electron microscope, we're able to see both the fine microstructure of the steel, which allows for a very sharp edge, as well as the true metallic bond between the layers. I'm now excited to take this wealth of knowledge and a piece of Damax steel straight from the factory back to my studio in the United States and create something special. Now that I'm back in Tennessee, my home studio, I'm feeling inspired to make a couple really simple kitchen utility knives. I've chosen to make two identically shaped K-tip style knives with two unique patterns using the same piece of Alleima Damax steel. One knife I will leave with the basic alternating layer pattern, and the other I'm going to cold emboss using a ball peen hammer to create a random pattern look. Starting with my templates, I trace the blade profiles, and next I use a vertical bandsaw to cut. On first approach to the saw, the steel was surprisingly fast and easy to cut. I then take the rough cut blades to the grinding room and tighten up the profiles. Steel is extremely soft at this stage and seemingly effortless to work with. Instead of the usual hot forging required to pattern Damascus, I'm going to try something new, cold embossing the steel. Using nothing more than an old ball peen and the anvil, I hammer both sides of the blade evenly to disrupt the layers of the steel. So now we have two identical blades, one with this embossed texture that's going to give a really nice random pattern, and the other is just going to display the straight layers of the steel. So the next step is to go in heat treatment. So what we're going to do is wrap these up in some stainless steel foil with a little piece of paper, and that's going to help burn off any extra oxygen in the foil. And then it's going to go into the kiln for about half an hour at 1,975 degrees. And then after that, into the temper oven at 345 degrees for about 3 hours. And this is going to give us around a 59 Rockwell hardness. After heat treatment, next we go into the grinding room. I start off with a 36 grit ceramic belt. You can see that the steel grinds really nicely, and we take it all the way from 36 grit up to about an 800 grit. Now that the grinding is all finished up, we're ready for the acid etch. So for this, I like to use a hot plate with a magnetic stirrer and a blend of hydrochloric acid mixed with just a little bit of ferric chloride. And we're going to let these soak for about 15 minutes in the acid, letting it warm up. And you can see it gets nice and bubbly and warm as it etches. And after a few minutes, we're ready to neutralize. So for this, I'm going to dip the blades into a bath of water mixed with a little bit of baking soda. This is going to stop the acid reaction. Next we go to the buff, and this is just going to clean off any oxides from the surface of the steel. And finally we're ready for the fit up. I like to make sure that everything is nice and tight before the blade gets glued in. I really love how different each one of these blades looks. You can see some beautiful topographic textures here on the blade that I embossed with the ball peen hammer. Next up, we're going to add our laser mark. And then on to sharpening. For this, I'm using a Tormek sharpening system with about a 14-degree angle. I'm really impressed with how sharp this steel gets. It has a razor edge on it, and I just know that it's going to cut really, really well. Now that the blade's all finished up, I'm really excited to try it out. So, of course, I had to take it to the kitchen. My go-to is usually potatoes and onions. And at first use, I can tell the blade is super, super sharp. I love to feel how it just goes effortlessly through the food. I can't help but think about our trip to Sweden and all the cool experiences we had, the amazing food that we had. And I really got to see how important the ingredients that you put into something really are. No matter if you're making food, if you're making steel, no matter what, you have to put the best stuff in order to get the best stuff out. I wanted to bring something special back from the trip. And one of my favorite meals that I had was a Swedish pizza. They use so many fresh and unique ingredients, and I was just so inspired by the creativity I saw that I had to try my own. Just like anything, the ingredients you put in determine the quality in the end. We decided to share a meal with the crew and talk about our favorite experiences on the trip. We were all so motivated and inspired by everyone we met at Alleima. It's been exciting to bring back that energy to the shop and to create something totally new. Learning the story firsthand of Alleima and their development of Damax has been nothing short of eye-opening. Being able to create such a performance-oriented steel while also being environmentally and socially conscious is truly groundbreaking. I can't wait to see what other knife makers do with Damax.